Well, it's been a while since I've been able to make a video. I've been having to work a lot of overtime lately. But I've got a couple of things that I want to share with you in this video. As you can see, I'm driving this old car again. Still looks a lot the same, but a lot of sheet metal work is done. Not all of it, but anyway, I'll show that in a little while. But another thing that I want to share with you in this video is a story about this 57 Chevy convertible of mine. It got featured in a magazine for September 2010. I'll show you that magazine here in just a second. But anyway, I'm going to show you the car. I wrote a story about the car and submitted it to a magazine about building it and about it being a daily driver, and it got published. I wrote the article several years ago, but this 57 Chevy convertible didn't start out life as a 57 Chevy convertible. It actually started out life as a 57 Chevy four-door sedan. And hopefully you can't tell it. There's no way to tell it. I used a 57 Pontiac convertible. And all the convertible parts on a Pontiac are the same as the convertible parts on a Chevrolet. And I cut up the four-door, took everything off that four-door that made it a four-door, and went through all the factory seams, and then unspot welded everything that made that Pontiac convertible a convertible, and welded all that together. I did this back in 1995, and you can't tell it. And for the longest time I didn't want to say anything about it, but since they reproduced 57 Chevrolet convertibles and they're bringing $180,000 for the reproductions, I thought, why not go ahead and tell the story about what it really is. You know, it's got the two-door convertible doors on it. And like I said, you can't tell it. But anyway, the magazine that it's featured in is this Chevy Classics Magazine, which is a magazine that the Classic Chevy Club of Orlando, Florida puts out. Eklers Classic Chevy Club. It's a good club to belong to. They sell a lot of reproduction parts and used parts and everything, and they send this magazine out once a month, Chevy Classics. And this is the story of my car. I wrote that story, and they put it in there just as I wrote it. So I guess you could say I'm a published author now. A lot of it's about actually building the car, and the last part of it's about my family and some of the adventures we've had in driving this car across the United States and carrying the girls back and forth to school. That's the dinosaur whenever I first bought it. You know, it was a cab and chassis with a trailer, and I had that tandem axle trailer, and I used to haul the 57 convertible around on top of that trailer and show up at the car shows like, this is my big rig. You know how you see these people show up with their new vehicles and their boxed in trailers and they unload their show cars. Well, they couldn't top that. Anyway, I don't know if you can tell, but that's the way I cut out that 57 four-door. That's the rear quarter panel. You can see where the back door used to shut. And this is the 57 Pontiac convertible that I got my pieces from. It was very rusty, and the firewall and dash was all beat up on it. And I cut out the convertible parts and began welding them in this 57 four-door. I screwed it together first, lining up the doors, making everything line up real good, and I screwed it together first, and then I welded it. I welded the metal end to end and also went through factory seams so you can't tell. And first I painted it turquoise, and then later on I painted it this blue color that it is. That's the car when we drove it to Colorado, the girls up on top of a mountain. And there's a picture of it in a 4th of July parade. These are some of the old Chevy convertibles we had a long time ago that we used to buy real cheap. We've had probably 30 or 40 of them, my older brother and I, that is. He passed away though years ago. Anyway, I wanted to share that with you. Chevy Classics Magazine, September 2010. Used to be sold at like Barnes and Nobles, but I don't think they sell them anymore. If not, it's a good club to belong to. It's about time for me to put another convertible top on this car, but once I had a convertible top put on this car in the summertime, and it's so hot that they stretch these tops on real tight, in this hot weather, they'll stretch the top on real tight, and then whenever it cools off and gets colder, you can't hardly close the top. It's on there so tight. So I'm kind of waiting for the weather to get cooler, and then I'll have that redone. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you. I'm really proud of that, making a magazine. And here's the old 63 Chevrolet. I got the back seat out of it. I still need to weld that metal in the floor. Took the chrome off the quarter panels. Yeah. I had to hang the back bumper on it to have my license plate, or else run it in the back window. It's good to be driving that again. And it's good to get a chance to make another video. I've got a few more that I'm loading today, and I've missed being able to do that.